Support your Hobbit hobby.
Welcome, Strategy Battle Gamers, to another GBHL YouTube video. That's right, I'm ambushing these guys before they get a chance to research our next GBHL YouTube unboxing. Now we are going to be unboxing another model from Damian's stash. That's right, we just come down here to steal his models and unbox them for you guys, get some content for the channel. We are unboxing Goblin King. That's right, the Goblin. Now this is the Goblin King throwing Goblin.
Finecast one.
Yeah. This is the finecast one. So this isn't the one that you see a lot of from the Escape from Goblin Town set. This is the actual throwing Goblin one. And what made you decide to pick this up? Because I'm guessing that a lot of people just thought, well, it's worthwhile just getting the set.
I picked it up because I prefer that model. I comfortably prefer that modle by a country mile. I do not like the standard one. I think it looks dull, the plastic one, and I think that's really cool. This is something we talked about a bit with the I think we talked about this with the Trolls video outside of the actual video. That the Trolls, the fact they don't look necessarily exactly like the Trolls, is down to the fact that GW were working from the concept art, and the faces of the Trolls change because they're motion captured. Yeah. So, if you look in the Chronicles book, the pictures of the Trolls look exactly like the GW models. Yeah. Whereas they don't necessarily look like the final film, and it's the same with the Goblin King. That you look at that and it doesn't look like the Goblin King the film. Like his face, the rest of it looks great, but the face looks
angry,
a bit
not mischievous
angrier.
enough.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you look at the Chronicles book, it looks exactly like the model because GW were clearly sculpting from the concept art,
of course, yeah, rather
than from the finished animation. And I think that's part of what makes some of these digital creatures look a bit different.
Yeah, and we're going to unbox him now. I'm going to pass this to the Invisible Man. He's getting the Chronicles book out. Just to prove his point.
I think it's important.
He wants to be researcher for this video.
Yeah.
Oh, he's stealing your part, Tom. Get in there, quick.
It's the wrong book.
Oh, he's failed already. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do then, even though it's Damian's model. Let's pass it to Mr. Harrison. Oh, he's rushing back. Oh, he's coming back now. He didn't like that. He didn't like that. Okay, so Tom Harrison's going to, of course, as always, we're going to talk. Yeah, you can unbox it. We're going to talk about the finecast. We're going to talk about what we think about the model itself, the pose. Are there any faults in it? What do we like about it?
There we go. Look at that. That's the one. Look at that picture there. That looks exactly like the plastic sculpt. The pose is spot on.
Yeah, it does. Let's have a little look.
But it looks nothing like the finished film.
Yeah, and that's because in the finished film, like you say, you actually got...
It's got Barry Humphrey's performance.
Exactly.
And these kind of things are clearly what GW was sculpting from.
Which one of the good things that that the movies do with their...
picture looks pretty much like the GW one.
Yeah, that
looks...
Yeah. It is, isn't it?
Pretty much the same.
Yeah. That is it. This is obviously, the Goblin Town... Escape from Goblin Town.
Those ones there.
Yeah, got it.
Yep.
Here we go. That is it. Although this sculpt is different. This is the Goblin King throwing the Goblin.
Yeah,
and he can do that because of one of his special rules. But we'll come on to the rules in a little while. Okay, so what do we think about the model back there?
It doesn't look as if it has any major problems.
Well, this looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like good quality.
I haven't remotely been inside this at all.
Quite a few mould lines on the little bits, but that's to be expected.
Yeah,
and easy to rectify as well.
He looks pretty cool.
Mould lines, just
there's quite a lot going on there. He's got his big boobs. A lot of goiter, and around the back I think there's far more detail along here in the loincloth.
What do you think about him being finecast instead of being plastic?
It's fairly inevitable. There's only so much you can do these days.
I think for this model it's not that much of a requirement because I don't know how much detail there is on a flash model.
That's what I was thinking.
But, it'd be the same price anyway.
There's his staffy thing and the crown at the top.
So I actually like the Goblin Town Goblin King.
Yeah.
I do, yeah. I do. I'm having a little look here.
There's a lot of detail as well. I'm just looking at the goblin he's thrown now. Yeah. I mean, there's an awful lot of this stuff. You don't get this on new finecast, this year's finecast, but I don't know how well you can see it. Around this bit, there's an awful lot of this kind of papery stuff. This stuff we talked about in the last video. Make sure the other video goes up first.
Of course it will.
Yeah, the athlete's foot video in the what was that? What were we talking about? The watch in the water. There's a lot of this kind of little flaky stuff, which looks like it might. It just take you that little bit longer to just clean up.
Yeah,
on some of the smaller bits.
Yeah.
One of those Citadel brushes though, and that'll get rid of it.
Toothbrush, if you will.
Yeah. Or a toothbrush.
Yeah. Get one of those £9 Citadel brushes or a toothbrush.
See, I'm looking at
the little file.
I'm looking at this, and I'm not. I rarely say anything. I'm not overly impressed.
No.
No. No, like I
no.
Because
with the pose or with the sculpt?
With both really. I mean, I like the fact that it's more of an action pose, you know, in one sense. But then you look at it and you think, why is this a finecast model, not a plastic model? Like there doesn't seem to be enough detail in the face or anything to justify it. I don't think the face does anything for it really at all compared to the plastic.
It's not vastly better by any means. You can see teeth though. You can see individual teeth. That's pretty cool.
Can you not do that with the plastic?
I don't know. I haven't looked. I sold it.
I think because the quality of plastics with the Hobbit has been so good.
The big ones though, the bigger plastics are a bit bulky. They're not.
The Eagle set was beautiful.
Yeah.
The Trolls, we liked the Trolls when we unboxed them.
We did like the Trolls. I think it's for me the Goblin King. I don't like the basic Goblin King.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Goblin King that came in the set.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
dull.
static-ish kind of pose.
He wasn't very fun. He didn't like the movie. Whereas as much as this face doesn't look like the movie, the model has a bit more dynamism to it.
Yeah, I think this pose kind of, and this sculpt kind of shows that more than the other one. That the face isn't the one from the movie, whereas the other one kind of hides it a little bit more. But let's talk a little bit about this because we have seen a few Goblin Kings.
Oh yeah,
a lot of Goblin Kings.
We've seen a lot of Goblin Kings, and we've seen a lot of Goblin Kings because, oh my eyes, he's a bit of a beast.
He is a bit of a beast.
He's a bit of a beast. He's quite, he's quite from experience, quite hard to kill. We're going to talk about his stat line now.
Yeah, if you like.
Let's talk about his stat line. Okay, so what is he across the board?
He is fight 6.
He's done his research.
We're going to check him.
He's testing me. Fight 6. 5 plus shoot value.
Yep.
Which is important later on.
Yeah.
Then strength and defense 5.
Yep.
3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 4. Goes 3.
Yeah. It's almost a surprise that he's strength 5 and defense 5.
As opposed to 6.
Yeah. I would have thought that he would have been 6 and 6.
Until you read the special rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty good. 3 attacks, 5
How expensive is he?
120.
Yep.
Yeah.
Might Will Fate.
Might Will Fate 3 something 1, isn't it? 331?
321.
321.
Okay.
Dusty bin.
So sort of halberd style.
And also he has a 2-handed pick and burly.
He's burly as well, yeah, so he's plus 1 to wound. Yeah.
Just
keep him.
Dwelling.
That mitigates against it. Yeah, he's dwelling, essentially. So he's going to be needing 3s to wound against most stuff.
Yeah.
He's good. And he's also really good. He's a monster on a cavalry base. That's really good.
Yeah, that is good.
In terms of slipping through gaps.
Explain why that is.
I will, thanks, Brandon. Because A, he can move through smaller areas, so you can leave smaller gaps for him to get through. Although actually, as we'll find later on, that's not as big an issue with him. But also because the enemy can put less models on him to trap him. So in terms of like beating him in combat, it's harder to because you can fit less models on.
Yeah, I believe on the cavalry base, 7 or 8, is it? 7 or 8? 7?
6, I think.
I think it is 8 if you do a little flower petal, but you're never going to get 8 in.
No.
But also, I believe he's just having a little think. I think he's the only monster in the game on a cavalry base.
Cave Troll.
And the Cave Troll. He's one of only 2 monsters in the game.
Research doesn't do everything.
But still, that's a good strength.
Yeah.
Like that's very
It is a good
strength.
strength. It is a good strength.
Yeah. So he's definitely good. And he causes terror. He's got the standard kind of monster thing. He causes terror. He's got brutal power attacks, which is pretty cool.
Brutal
Also
power attacks are
resistant to magic.
Yeah, he's resistant to magic, which is a bit odd.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem massively fluffy.
Remember, that was a question at last year's
in the quiz.
tournament. In the
last
quiz,
year's
and we had
Skulls.
Adam Trope in our team who wrote the rulebook, and he couldn't remember the answer. The question was which profile in the Hobbit rulebook, this one,
has resistant to magic, and he didn't know.
He didn't know. He couldn't remember what model it was.
It's the Goblin King.
Should you ever need it?
Hey, look, I should be on your quiz team.
And he'd been playing with him all day, hadn't he? He had him in his army.
He'd been using them all day and he'd forgotten about it.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now, but one of the really key things which has come up with the Goblin King is to do with his saves and to do with his survivability.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that, because that is a really key thing when talking about the Goblin King. You can do it, Tom.
Oh, okay.
Go on.
So
you've got the book.
there's a special rule called Blubbery Mass. Now, one can only assume this is from a kind of extended shot from the film that has never gone in, because Gandalf just slices him right open in the film. But basically, every time the Goblin King's wounded, you roll essentially a fate point for him, and that's saved on a 3+, which is just obscene, really.
Every time, every wound.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have fate points for it, and he's got 1 fate as well, just to.
It's literally like a save from other systems, isn't it? So
it's
like
very much
armor
like
save.
a ward save or something.
However,
invulnerable save.
Yeah. However, Glamdring, Orcrist, and Sting all ignore this.
Perfectly explaining why Glamdring.
Yeah, I was going to say that kind of messes up my point before. But there was nothing else.
Apparently, I can't remember who told me this, but apparently at one point in the early version of the script, the reason this was written was Fili or Kili tried to stab the Goblin King, and he kind of ate their sword. It got swallowed up by his fat. Someone on the circuit from talking possibly to Adam, I'm not sure. I remember hearing that in a very early draft that happened, which led to that kind of save. But it's incredible. I think every single wound you do on the 3+, you ignore it, unless you have one of those 3 weapons, which you're probably not going to have.
Yeah. Realistically, the best way to deal with him is to stop him from killing you and then wait for him to run away.
Yeah, the key.
Yeah, he's got low courage, isn't he? What's his
courage? 3.
Courage 3.
The key to defeating him is to break the army and wait for him to leg it.
And we've seen this a few times, haven't we? We've seen this with Owen.
A lot of times.
Owen Wright.
Teaches. And this happened to him on the second. He was doing very well on the first day, wasn't he? Was he winning?
Yeah. Although, first game of that first day, he ran away against yours truly.
Yeah. You've been very pleased about that.
I was right against me as well.
But it's a risk. He's a great and that's what I quite like about it, that he's a great monster at a good price, and that's his weakness.
Yeah. But defense 5 is tough as well.
Yeah, but 3+ save.
3+ save.
I'd rather have that than defense 6.
Still, lots of things getting through there. 2
other special rules though that we've not mentioned.
Go on.
You want me again? So one is
earning his pay.
Yeah, pretty apt for this pose. He gets a Goblin projectile special rule.
Fantastic.
So this is why you want this model to remind you that he has this special rule. So a Goblin King will readily hurl nearby goblins at foes if it suits him. Thanks for the sound effects, James.
I'm contributing.
So basically, if you have a goblin in base combat, so you have to kind of plan for it and shove one next to him, the Goblin King can pick him up and chuck him up to 12 inches. Obviously, he needs a 5+ to hit, so you'd want him to be standing still when he's doing this. But it's a strength 8 hit.
A strength 8 hit?
Yeah.
It's a Goblin.
8 hit.
Yeah,
and automatically knocks prone any model it hits. So cavalry, fell beast, it just
fell beast
especially.
Fell beast.
You want to? So we're bringing the Goblin King tomorrow.
You want to learn how to deal with a fell beast. You get the Goblin King.
And the Goblin.
As long as it's the only time in the game where you would ever might a hit roll.
Yeah. Exactly.
So he needs a 5 to hit.
Yeah.
If you chuck a goblin at a fell beast and you get a
brilliant.
2,
might,
all 3 might.
Yeah.
That will then dismount the fell beast.
You've got a strength 8 hit, so you need a 3.
It automatically knocks him prone.
And will automatically,
automatically knocks him prone.
So
best 3 might you ever spent in your life. That's how he's the best. So you get a ton of goblins out and the Goblin King in the middle.
Who's doing this tomorrow at 350 points?
Unfortunately, this is my Goblin King. But it's quite a.
It's an easy model to paint.
Yeah.
I've seen loads of great paint jobs.
I don't think he's got enough time to assemble it and paint it before tomorrow morning.
You can do it. We were up until 5:30 last time.
And you need a goblin with it.
Yeah.
This is a new plan.
Yeah.
Sack the Berserker Feral list.
What Berserker?
That's already been, because this will be coming on after the tournament.
It's happened, yes. That's exactly
How did you get on?
How did I get on? I think I came 4th.
In the league or in the tournament?
In the tournament.
And then 4th in the league?
In the league, yeah, I think I came fourth.
Much thanks to you absolutely thrashing me in the game that we were destined to play.
Possibly. I think I'm going to come fourth in both. That's my call. I think I'm going to end up fourth in the league. I think I'll come fourth in the tournament.
Interesting. How do you think you're going to get on, Thomas?
I don't want to say.
Come on. Interesting.
I'm going to come at least third. That's mathematically.
That's because he can't
proven.
come in anything else.
Oh, you mean in the league?
Yeah,
I mean
in
in
the
the
league.
tournament.
No, I think I need to come around fourth in the tournament to do Jamie over. Which is tough with 32
You're
people.
pretty
there.
confident of second. Second in the league.
I don't know, Jamie can, you lose your last game, Jamie can easily out.
You know what's pretty exciting about this video? Right now, there is GBHL content going on in this room and the next room.
We're getting organised.
I mean, Jamie is next door. When you see
You guys were
videos-
unlucky enough to flip a coin to be
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
When Jamie and Ed are doing the videos, that's happening now. This is like a kind of studio. It's very exciting.
It's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Really
Look, we've got
tempted to give it
lights. Got lights.
Lights that are too bright.
We've got lights. We've had lots of beer and pizza
another
and all
rule.
kinds of
a 3. Yeah,
stuff.
Got another
we've
special
got
rule.
another rule.
It's a good rule.
Would you bring the Goblin King?
I would, yeah.
Would you bring the Goblin King?
Would I bring him?
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I would bring the Goblin
Oh,
King.
Joe Horsfall, as part of his Monster Mash, likes to take Suicidal Marswell.
Yeah.
Likes to take the Goblin King, and
With?
he has an appalling record against my ferals in the Goblin King's inexplicable ability to roll more than a 3 for his attack dice.
Oh no.
In two 750 games, so 2 tournaments last year, 750 points. The Goblin King just charged into a bunch of ferals and died.
Oh.
Completely inexplicably, but that's not a true reflection of his abilities.
No.
What's his other rule, Thomas?
His final rule, which we'll tell you about, is Relentless Advance. So when the Goblin King charges, any goblins in his way are in serious danger, like the ones that are thrown. When he charges into combat, he can pass through friendly goblin models, so they just kind of get up, he just kind of tramples over the top of him, and it's a strength 3 hit on each of those goblins, which when you've got so many of them, it's probably worth it.
It's also unique in the game, I believe.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of things that are quite unique in SBG, because that kind of save is quite a unique thing, isn't it?
Yeah. 3+.
A 3+
I mean,
save whenever you want.
Thrall's got the Arcus save, which
yeah.
gives him a 3+ again, but if he fails it,
Yeah, that's
it stops
done.
working.
Yeah.
And he also doesn't have Fate.
Yeah.
What's great about that is that it stops the whole priority war.
Yeah.
Because you just put a line of goblins in front of the Goblin King, and then even if he calls a heroic move, he can then... Normally, if you're blocked by warriors, you can't move, but he can barge through them
Yep.
and move, and it stops other enemies charging him.
Yeah, and it gives
Really
him
good.
a blockade for shooting as well.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he's
it
defense
was.
5 elf shooting.
Jesus Christ.
Since
I swore because of the terrible.
You didn't swear, did you?
I did. I said our Lord's name.
Blasphemy.
That's blasphemy. It's a little bit different. Ed Baller's coming into the room, so we're going to stop talking about taking Goblin Cow and throwing goblins into fell beasts tomorrow. And we're going to sign this off with Happy Strategy Battle Gaming.
And support your hobby,
Oh no.